Everyone, so I think my voice is audible for all. So we wait for the students just for 1 minute to connect all the students to get connect. So if you go join the live session, just give a comment. Okay, so I hope that we will understand what our thing. Okay, okay. So just for before instead of waiting for the student, we just see what are the things that we have discussed earlier. So before we discussed about what is variables, what is keywords, what is identifiers, and we discussed about what are our data types, and we see about primitive data types a little bit, and also we covered the primitive data types, and we get headed towards the arrays. And in this class what we're going to discuss, it's all about array methods, and we're going to see about what is object, and we're going to see about some of the string methods, array methods, and object methods that are available, defaultly available, and how can we use that. So that is what we're going to see. Okay, so this is all about for today's session, and also we just move on to some of the other concepts if we need it. Okay, so we can go for it. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so this is the JS bean. I think I don't want to explain it all, and make sure that if you are attending, if you are new here, or this is a 4 days workshop for JavaScript beginners to advanced. And in this session, like form every day, we will give a form. If you attended that, we will give a provide certificate and all too. And also this session covers everything from scratch. Okay, so just whatever the doubts, questions you have, just make it in the comment section. We will be there to help you. Okay, fine. We just move on to it. So in this section is all about seeing about the methods. Okay, so before seeing what is methods and all, we need to understand what is exactly methods and what is how it is built and why it is useful and all. Okay, so for that we need to know about first of all what is objects. Okay, so and then we need to move. Okay, so in the last class we have discussed about reference data type, right? We have discussed about reference data types, right? So in that we see there is two things available. One is object and we have array. There are two things is available. So we have discussed about what is array and how to access an array. We discussed about. So now we see about what is object. Okay, for example, I just write a syntax to creating an object. Okay, so I just say const. Here I writing an object for car, and here instead for array we use the square bracket, right? So here you need to use the curly braces, mustache braces. That is what you need to do. So then what you need to do, so normally what is reference data types, it has a list of data, right? So in array what how we name that. For example, I say const, and here I say car1 equal to like this, and here whatever the car we have, we just don't care about the spellings. Okay, so something like this. So this is how we list out, right? So we directly call the name and we list out. So if I want to access it, how we can access? We can access by its index because it is ordered one, right? So when it comes to object, it's little bit different. It is not depends upon the order. It depends upon the naming of it. Okay, so how you need to declare a value inside means you need to give a key, and you need to use the colon, and you need to give the value separated by comma. Okay, so this is how you need to do. So here order is not important, but when it comes to array, order is very important. I will tell you why, and why it is necessary and all. So let's first we create it. For example, if I want to create an object for car, I need to say something like, for example, I need to say what is the brand of the car. So this is going to be the key, and here we need to give the value. So the brand, I just say Audi, and separated by comma, and here you can go for the next. So next what I say, like what is the model, I say model. So I say like this is the latest model 2022, like that. Okay, so here you can see if it is stored in an array, how we do, we just say Audi, we just say 2022, right? So but here we have two things. One is like property, this is going to be the key, and this is going to be the value, and we call this as key value pass inside an object. It is called as properties. Okay, so it is called as properties. Okay, so this is how we define a property. So if I want to access a property, if I want to access this, how can I access? How can I access means, if before that I just say simply console.log car. Okay, and I just clear and I just run it, you can see an object is created, and you can see that brand and model is created, right? So here before that I just give another thing. Okay, so like like mm, is nah, like like amount, I just say amount, and here I just say a string 1 lakh, something like that. Okay, so don't care about that. Here you can notice that if I clear it and I run it, you can see the amount has come to the. So that is the difference. So here the order is not important, but you need to show like a variable instead of calling let brand is equal to Audi, let model is equal to 22 2020, let amount is equal to lakh. What we see, what here we do, we just wrap it in an object. We wrap it in an object, and here we give all the information about that particular object. So this is a great way of writing programming. Okay, so it is a structured way of storing data. Okay, so by doing this, that will be help a lot. It gives an immense power. Okay, so this is actually like you heard about a word called oops, right? So it is nothing but how we store a data and how we write a code. Okay, so this is a structured way, optimized way of writing code. Okay, so that is what we are doing. So instead of declaring a more number of global variables, we avoid this, and we can declare like something like that. Okay, so I think you clear with this, right? Okay, just a minute. Okay, fine. In output, okay, good evening, video is not visible. Oh, just a minute. Hello, I think now it is okay, right? I think my face is still blurred. Okay, I think it's heavy rain, right? So that is what happened. Okay, so what is the doubt? What is the doubt? The video stopped, the screen is not visible. Now all okay. Okay, fine. So is okay, fine. Okay, so this is all about object. So it is a structured way of writing it. So if you have any doubts, you can comment. Okay, I get lots of message. Okay, so thank you all. And if you have any doubt regarding this, fine. Okay, you can ask that questions. Okay, if you have any doubts regarding that, means you can ask the questions. Okay, so this is object. So this is an array and this is an object. So this is a structured way of writing the code. Okay, so that's it. So here the thing is like it is a numbered index, so the order is very important. Here the order is not that much important, but it is a named index. So here you can see we need to give the key and we need to give the key value pairs. And if I want to access an array, how we access based on the number, because number plays an important role, so in the indexes plays an important role, right? The same like that, if I want to access an object, here I need to call the properties, like the key, whatever the key I need to call. Okay, so here you can see, you for array we use the square bracket, right? So here you need to use the dot. Okay, you need to use the dot. There is an alternative way to access an object also. You can use the square bracket also, but I will recommend go for dot. Okay, so I will say why we are using square bracket too. So you just give a dot, and if you give a dot, it will just go inside that, and you have access to all this one. For example, if I want to access the amount, how I can access? Just call it, just give a dot and just call it. Okay, so just call it and clear, run it. Here you can see 1 lakh is displayed, right? So you can make a sentence like my car is, and you can say car dot brand, that is Audi, and the model of the car is car dot model, and that is going to be 2022, and I purchased it for car dot amount. So this is the way that we can able to access it. Okay, fine. Fine. Arrays are in JSON format. Charan, I'm not understanding. Like you asking whether JSON format JSON format is pretty similar to object only. Okay, so they're pretty similar to object only. Arrays is also an object. Okay, so if you have more number of object, then it is listed in an array only. So yes, it is possible. Like how can I say? Like yes, of course, it may be in JSON format. It is available in JSON format too. If you go for any APIs, everything that are available in JSON format, and that JSON format is pretty similar to arrays and object. So inside an array, we have n number of objects. So likewise, I say now, like in the last class, I say inside an array, we can hold many number of data types. For example, we can hold a number, we can hold boolean. Like that, we can capable to hold an object too. For example, like here, if I declared with the curly braces, then it's going to be an object. So here I can give all the things. Like for example, like this one, you can able to access it. So now what happened? Just think about this. I just created a nested array object. Okay, so this is going to be in the first place. Okay, so this is going to be in the first. Okay, like this. So in an array, you can able to give nested objects too. So if I call for car1, save it, run it, and I just go and inspect it because it gives a clear view compared to JSBin. Just go and console it. Here you can see it is an array only. Car1 is an array only. But if I hover it, like if I just get into it, you can see in the 0th index it is Volvo, first index it is Audi, second index it is 23, third index it is true, and fourth index it's pretty different, right? So here you can see it is declared as an array, right? So here you can see brand Audi model 2022 and amount 1 lakh, right? So what is this? This is an object. So inside an array we have object, so we can able to hold anything. So here you can see here that is everything that is aligned. So here the prototype is going to be object. Okay, so this is called as nested object and nested arrays and all. Okay, so you can able to hold, and even though inside an object you can able to hold an array too. For example, so just this is an object, right? So inside that I need to hold an array. How can I hold? For example, how can I say, like I say simply version. Okay, so this is going to be the version, and this is going to be a key, and here you can declare it with the square bracket, and here you can see like 0.1, 0.2, something like this. So if I access for car1 dot version and I run it, sorry, not to car1, car dot version, clear, and run it, you can get that array. So we can simply call the car. So this is an object. Let's see how it is aligned. If I go for it, here you can see, remove this, run it. You can see there is an object, and inside an object we have brand, model, amount, everything. And here you can see a nested array is there. If I click this, you can see the array. It is arranged in an index. It is arranged in an indexed order, right? So then it's going to be an indexed array. So that's how. That is how it is. That is how. So JSON is something same like it. So what is the difference is, so in JSON format you can have this, here also you can have this something square bracket, and also it wrapped with everything with this what double quotes and all. Okay, so we can able to convert the JSON format to object and object to JSON very easily by using JSON stringify and JSON parse method. That is something other topic. Okay, so this is called as property. So a property is simply like a variable only, but we are storing inside an object. So inside an object, I'm storing the same variable without declaring an keyword. Okay, so that is called as key value purse. That is going to be an object. Okay, so that is going to be the property of it. Okay, fine. So the next what we're going to do, we're just going to see about methods. So before getting into methods, you need to know about functions. Okay, so just right now remember this what is object only. Okay, here we go for function. This is a very important topic that every programming language has. So what is meant by function is, function is something, a block of code. Can anyone know about function? Just give a comment like this function, just give a description about the function. Okay, so I just say block of code is executed when someone is called, or we can say evoked it. So function is nothing but a block of code. So we need to run an action. Okay, so like we can able to hold that and we can able to call it. For example, it is also like the variable only. What happen if I say let name equal to Harry? Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm just telling to the computer like you need to create a variable in the name of name, and you need to store a data Harry inside it. Okay, so and I say console.log console.log, and here you can call that variable. So here what I'm doing, I'm calling that variable. So if I call that, what happen, it will be run, it will run and it will produce the value. So function is same like that, but instead of storing values, it store logic, it store expressions. For example, if I say function, okay, so function is the keyword that used to, like how we use let, the same like it is a reserved keyword that is used to declare a function. Okay, so and the next thing is about, you need to give a function name. Okay, the next thing is about function name. You need to give a parenthesis and you need to give a square bracket. Inside that you need to give the code to execute. So whatever the code that you need to execute, here you need to execute. For example, here I just remove this calling name. Okay, so we see about what is parenthesis and all, and here I say if someone called the name, return. So what is this return means? So return indicates the ending of the function. So if a function runs, if I run this function, something has to, some code has to produce, right? So it need to send some result. So that is that, it's done by this return keyword. I will explain that too. Okay, so I just say simply like Harry. So this is what you need to return. Okay, so I just comment this. Okay, so right now what I did, what I created means I just created a function, that function with the name of calling name, and it is going to return a string that is Harry. Okay, so that is what it's going to do. So if I run this function, you can see nothing is happened because we need to call it function. So right now what I say, I just say to my computer, right, you need to create a function and you need to name it as calling name, and the value what it is going to return, it is going to be Harry. Okay, so that is what I say. Okay, so it is not produced. For if I want to evoke this function, I need to call that function. So how can I call? You can say I need to display the answer in console. So I say like console.log, and here I say calling name, and you need to call a function. So this is with this parenthesis. So what this parenthesis will tell, so the parenthesis is saying that you need to execute this function, so you need to run this function. So all the code that you are produced inside that, it will be get executed. Okay, so if I run this, you can see we have Harry, right? So without this parenthesis, if I run this, without this parenthesis, if I run this, you can see we get the function. So it is like a variable only. Okay, it's like a variable only, it just get allotted in a memory. So if I call that, it will send. Okay, so you are calling, if you calling that, so take it, it will just produce it. But if I use the parenthesis, if I use this double curve braces, so what is that means? It is executing the function. So instead of producing this function, what will happen? The code, whatever the code that we have written, the logic is executed. It just evoked, and only what should return, that should be written. Okay, what we are saying to return, that is get returned. So if I clear it and if I run it, you can see the function is written. So without this return keyword, I simply write like this, and if I run this, you can see it produce undefined. The reason is return keyword is responsible for sending the result. Okay, sending the result. So if a function runs, obviously we need to return something. So if a function runs, we need to return something. So this return is the only keyword that returns the answer to whom it's calling. So here the console log it's calling, so it is returned to the console.log. Okay, so that is what the entire function will do. Okay, I think you fine with that, right? This still my videos get stuck. Is my voice is audible for all? I can check. I think it's okay for all, right? Videos get stuck. Yeah. Okay. So the function is nothing but I need to execute a block of code. Okay, right now I just give a simple example. Let me execute some block of code. For example, how it is helpful. Some people ask like how it is going to be helpful, right? So I will tell you that. For example, I need to say let c equal to 4 plus 5. So this is the expression. Okay, so this is the expression that I need to produce inside a function, and I need to return the variable c like this. Okay, like this. Okay, so now what happened? So this operation will happen. Okay, 5 plus 4 is going to be 9. So then it gets going to store in c, and it is going to return the value of it when I call it. Okay, so if I run it, you can see 9 will be produced. So what happened? So if I don't call it, what happened means this variable is not yet created. So when I call the function, when I evoke the function, then only the function get evoked and the variables get created and they will do this action. Let us do some dynamic. For example, instead of giving hard values like the values here, I need to use the values from outside. How can I do that? Means here you can see a place called parenthesis, right? So here we can able to pause some of the parameters. So what is mean by parameters? Means parameter is nothing but it takes value from the outside and we can able to use those value inside. For example, here I declare a and b. Just consider like how we declared name. The same like that you can able to give whatever you want to give. For example, if I remove this ab2 num1 num2 like this. So what this is going to do, this is going to take value from the outside. Okay, so and that value is stored inside num1 and num2, and I want to use that value inside the function. Okay, so num1 plus num2, and that is going to stored in nums, and that function is going to return nums. Okay, so this is a function. So if I run this, you can see nan is produced. The reason for this is initially this num1 and num2 without value. So it has we are not giving any values that we defined anything. No. So what happens means it is like a variable without a value like this. So what is it? If I say let name, then what it's going to be? It is going to be an undefined, right? So this is going to be an undefined. This is going to be an undefined. So undefined plus undefined, it is going to be nan operation. So nan is nothing but a if a number, not a number, that is the definition of it. If something that is not a number that involves in an operation like addition, minus, like that, so it produces nan. Okay, so here what I'm going to do, we can give how we can give values to this parameter. So you can use this argument to send the value to the parameter. For example, here we can give 4 5. So what happens means calling function, so it is going to call the function and I say execute it, and even when you execute it, I need to pass this value. So this value is taken by this parameter. Order is very important. So num1 is for 4. So the value 4 is taken by num1, and num2 value 2 is taken the num2. Okay, and what happened here, this num1 is replaced with the value 4 and num2 is replaced with value 5, and it is get stored in nums and it is going to return the nums. Okay, and that is going to display in the console. So this is the process. If I run it, you can able to see the thing. So here also you can able to, here you can see like console.log. Here we can say, or if I clear it and if I run it, here you can see, if I, this is argument is something that defaultly available in JavaScript. So if I say console.log arguments, so you can see what are the arguments that are available. So you can see it is an object with 0, with the 0 in the 0th index, it is 4 and it is 5. So this is same like an array, like, but it is an object only. So if I just go for inspect and I console, so whatever the array, whatever the argument that we are giving, it is stored in an object, argument object only. So here you can see it is stored in an, it is stored in zeros as 4 and 1 as 5. Okay, so this is how it's stored. So this is the value we passed, right? So that is stored inside it, and we can be able to access it. So you cannot use this argument outside. If I use the argument outside console.log argument, if I run it, it throw me an error. The reason is arguments, these arguments are available only inside the function. Okay, only accessible inside the function. So because inside the function only we are giving this value, so once it gets go for the parameter only, we can able to access inside the function. Okay, so this is how this function is will be work. And even more, instead of giving this 4 and 5 here, we can able to give it in a variable too. For example, I say let a equal to 12 and let b equal to 13, and here you can pass those variable also, like a comma b. So now what happened, this a variable is go to the parameter and the value stored, now the value is going to stored inside the 12, and the b variable it's go inside the num1 and it is going to stored into the 13 num2. So it is get addition and everything will be happen, and now it produces the value. So this is the function of it. So this is the functionality that is behind the calculator. So in real world, right? So what happens means, if a user gives 13, if a user types any number, so what I say, okay, so take that number and store it in a variable. So right now that we are not see how to take it and all. Okay, so that is comes under DOM operations. Okay, we don't see that. So like if it is going to be a box, then what it would be, it like an input box, right? So if a user enters a number, so we need to grab that number and we store it in a variable, and user enters in another number, we need to grab that number and we need to store it in another variable. So if he calls for an addition, we need to run an addition function. Like here we can say add. So this is going to be the add function. So if the user call for an add function, so then this two value is passed inside an add function and it gets the result, and the result will be sent to it. Okay, so this is the functionality behind the calculator, and many of it. Okay, when will we start React JS? Okay, so React will be start from I think next week. Okay, you will get that. So this is actually a function. So a function is nothing but if we want to execute a block of code, we can wrap it, and whenever we want we can execute it. So right, you can use the function whenever we want. So you don't want to repeat those block of code. Like if you want to do the same operation for some other if you have something like C and D that has a value of 24 and 32, and you need to multiply it, how can you multiply it? For example, if I say let C equal to 13 and D, and let D equal to 16, something like this. So if I want to do the do the addition for how we do for A and B, how can we do that? We just call the function, instead of A and B we can use C and D. That's it. Okay, so it gives the flexibility, right? So we don't want to repeat again and again this code. We don't want to repeat. So if I don't create a function, what would happen? For A and B, I need to say A plus B and return something, right? So for C and D we need to say C plus D, and we need to say like it is stored in a variable like that. So every time we need to repeat it, but when I create a function we don't want to repeat it. It will, we can use it for n number of times. Okay, calling name is not defined. Okay, so here we changed it, so I just call it like this. Okay, run it. Here you can see for A and B and C and D. Okay, so one single function that is used for everywhere. Okay, so that is going to be a function. Okay, so now come to methods. What is method? Okay, so just go for object. I just create an object car. Okay, so here I say brand, and here I just say OD, and I create another one that is going to be model, and here I just say 2022. So this is going to be the model. So this is going to be properties, right? Property, what we call this is going to be a property. It's like a variable, it stores information. We can able to access the property by using the key things, right? So key is what we access it, and value it returns it, right? So what is going to be a method? Method is nothing but a function inside an object. Function inside an object is called method. Okay, let us see how it is possible. For example, so that is why I explain what is function. For example, I need to start. I just create and key start, and if I created a word start, like the key start, and instead of storing the value like RD 2022 anything like that, I'm going to store a function. So I just say function. Okay, and here you ask that why you don't add any name. It is not possible, like it is not recommended, like required, because we store it in here now. So that is, we don't want, like if you want to add you can add it, but it is not necessary. So a function without a name, it is called as anonymous functions. Okay, so we can use this. Okay, so here I say return. I created a function and I say return engine starts, like this, something like this. Okay, so engine starts. So this is what it's going to return. Okay, so now how we access it means, so normally how we access the property of it, if I say like console.log. Okay, so how we access the property, we call that object, give a dot, and we need to call the brand, right? So I just say brand, right? So if I run it, we can able to access it, right? OD, right? So if I want to access this one method, how we need to add it? So the same, you need to call the start, but with parenthesis. Why we need to add the parenthesis? So once you add the parenthesis, then only the function is get executed. If you don't add the parenthesis, the function will not executed. It just returns the entire function. For example, if I say console.log car.start, like that, if I run this, you can see it simply returns that function. So if you want to run a function, run actual performance of that function, you need to call that, like execute that with parenthesis. Okay, if I run it, you can see engine starts. Okay, so this is how we create objects. So method is nothing but, so in an object, property is nothing but, it is like a brand and model, and start and function, like we created now, this is a custom method that we created for this object. Okay, so till now, is there any doubt? So are any restriction to declare, can we declare the variable wherever we want within a function, or any restriction to declare a variable? Actually, you can able to declare wherever, say inside a function, outside a function, but there is a concept is there called scopes, and that is very important. So when we started, there is also scopes is also available in our curriculum. So because in that topic only you can came to know where to access, like if I declared inside a function, that variable it's access only inside the function. And also you need to know like where it is get stored and all. There are so much of things is available, like uh, let and const difference, what is the difference between var and let. so scope is available, and also the variable declared inside scope is available. So you can declare a variable, that is not a problem. But if you declare a variable outside global variable, you can access anywhere. But if you declare a variable inside a function, it is accessible only inside the function, you cannot accessible the outside. So both have advantage and disadvantage. We will talk that later. Okay, so we will talk that, but there is no restriction, you can declare. It's up to you only, like it's up to your project and it's up to your use case. Okay, so it is up to you only. So I will tell you that. Okay, so I think right now everyone is okay with this object, right? So here comes the very interesting part. When I start the session, I say a sentence. In JavaScript, everything is an object, right? So I just say in JavaScript, whatever thing we are using, everything is an object. So this is the sentence I just mentioned. Here you can see right now we created a custom object. So this is an object that created by me, right? So I just created an object for a car, and that has property and brand, and it has start, right? The same like till now we have discussed about string, we have discussed about array. Sir, it is using scope. Sir, it's using scope resolution operator. Sorry, I'm not getting resolution operators. I'm not getting. Can you explain? Like, can you ask the questions again? Okay, I'm not getting. Okay, so let's see. I will explain to you like wherever we use this objects. Okay, so I just cut it and I paste it. Look at the difference between console.log and it has a parenthesis, right? So we discussed about console.log from long time, from the starting of the section till now we are using, right? Just discuss console. It is a console and it has a dot and it has a log and it has a parenthesis. The same like car dot start and it has a parenthesis. Remember, I say everything is an object. Yes, of course, console is an object. Just think about how it is created. So it is created simply like this only, like const, okay, const console. This is an object, and inside this there is something called log, and this is the method of the object. There is a function is there. There is a function is there, and inside the function the logic is written. So whatever the code we are giving inside this log method, it is get logged. It is get logged in the console place. So how can we, if I give here how it is get logged, so that is, this is considered as an argument and that is taken as a parameter, right? I think you got it what I'm saying. So console is an object. So and next whatever see, like we see, can we see, go for array? Let me see. I say const, I say car, and I say instead of car I just say 1 2 3 4 something like this. Okay, so here I say console.log and I say simply car and I go for run. Okay, what happened? So okay, I just created car for twice, same variable, so it is not taking one. Okay, clear, run, inspect, console, clear the session, run the session. You can see 1 2 3 4. If I click it, you can see here, and you can something called as length, right? You can something called as length. So this is a default thing that is available here, so we can able to access it. For example, instead of car dot instead of I'm calling car1, I say dot length. See, remember that dot, I'm using dot because array is also going to be an object, so that is why. So what are the default property that are available, for that we use this dot only. Okay, so because that is an object, so how, that is how we access an object, right? So the length is nothing but, you can see I don't use any parenthesis, right? So if I don't use, that means what is it going to be? It is going to be a property. It is going to be a property. If I run it, you can see we can able to access the length of the property, right? So till now what are we used? The yesterday sentence link. Okay, so while declaring variables can be used scope resolutions operator. I think you just, I think do you know some other programming language instead of like, I think Scope. You're asking for scope resolution. Operator. Like this one, right? Right? So that is what I'm saying. Like when you come up with some other language, when you come up, when you have some other background for like you know about C++, you know about something like that, JavaScript is entirely different. Okay, in JavaScript the scopes is different. Even the concept of closures, JavaScript was introduced. Okay, so don't just I just only say like unlearn it. So okay, so just unlearn it. Don't think about the other programming languages. Like I used this programming language. JavaScript is different. JavaScript is different. Okay, so like if you use this one, like what it's going to be, it is used to qualify the hidden names that can still use them. So, like that, like how can I say, you can use that operator and you can able to use that function scope as an like function scope as an global scopes, right? So but here JavaScript it will be entirely different. Okay, so don't get into the concept because you will get confused when we compare something with JavaScript. Okay, so and also JavaScript is going to be weird. So today I tell something, tomorrow it is different, and day after tomorrow it is different. Like today I say JavaScript is an interpreter, but JavaScript is also a compiler, but JavaScript is also both. Okay, so there is technical speaking is available, there is the code how we write, that is different, and the word of community towards JavaScript is different. Okay, so I will explain when it's come to scopes, I will explain it what are the different weird things that is happening. Okay, so just right now just understand, JavaScript everything is an object only. So where that actual the where is the whole object, so that object is nothing but window. If I say console, instead of console logging it, go for inspect, go for console, clear it, and you ask for window, this is going to be an object. Okay, if I run it, you can see it is going to be an object, and inside that only whatever the thing we are using, everything is here only. For example, here you can see the console. uh, okay, okay, so like this is going to be the global object. So inside that you have access for all the object that we having. Okay, so these all are all the object that I just have some of the examples also. Like we can see, yeah, this one alert is there, so we can able to use this. So in default, if I using some methods, for example, we have some of the methods too. Like we have this, these all are events, like on click, if someone clicks that something, that is all, we don't see that. And we have so much of things. Okay, so just right now understand, this is the global event, and in this object only all other object that we are accessing, that is going to be inside. Okay, so this is the global Windows object. Okay, you can see it here, how it is created and how it is used and everything is there. Okay, so JavaScript everything is going to be an object, and that, okay, come on. Okay, it's okay, I just use the window, that is why it's just reloaded thing. Okay, so it is going to be a window, and that is how it's reloaded. So just right now understand what is method and what is property. Okay, so everything in JavaScript is going to be an object. So right now, for example, if I have an string, for example, I say const name equal to, I just say Hari. Okay, so what is this, this is going to be a string. So if I say everything is going to be an object, then string is also going to be an object. So we have some of the default method that is available for string. For example, for string we have something called as, if I say console dot log, Okay, so here I just say name dot. Why I'm using dot? Because it is also object, because I want to access the default methods that are available. Okay, so we have a property called length, how we see about how we discussed about in the array. The same like length property is available for the string too. Okay, so it is also starts from 0. The indexes start from 0 and it will count it. So how many it will be there, it will count it. You can see 4. If I give a white space, it will still count it. I give a 2 white space, so it's going to show me 6. Okay, so it is also an object. So that is why we have some of the these are default method. That is the only thing you need to understand. So this is the method, like the car object, it is created by me, and inside whatever I did, it is created by me. So if what is this length and what is the some other method that we going to discuss, so that methods are created by the developers, JavaScript developers, so who developed, who contributed it. Okay, so that is what, for example, we have another method. If I say console.log name, we have a method called to uppercase. So what this will do, it will it will make all the thing that to uppercase. Okay, so if I just run it, you can see 𝐻𝐴, it will make it to uppercase. So it will convert everything into an uppercase. So how it is written, it is written by same like an object is there and by the name of to uppercase is there. If you have an argument, you just want to get that argument and you need to convert everything into an capital namespace. That is what you need to do. So this is some of the code that are defaultly available. Okay, okay, defaultly available. So these are called as methods. So if it is used for string, then it is called as string methods. If it is used for array, then it is called as array methods. If it is used for object, then it is called as object methods. And for string, the methods are different. The array, the methods are different. The object, the methods are different. The reason is everything is handled differently, right? So string, it's going to be a naming convention. So it has something related to words. So like changing uppercase and changing lowercase, like that. So instead, if I have something called as number like this 23, so then the methods are different. Okay, so then the methods are different. We have two process and two fixed, because there is no use of two uppercase. If I run this, you can see error. Two uppercase is not a function. Why? Because it is a number. So this is a number method. We want to use numbers with the number method only. So this is going to be a number. This is going to be an like two uppercase is used only for string, and this is a number. So you need to use string method for string and number method for number. For example, if I want to convert this number to a string, how can I do that? We have method called toString. Okay, so what this will do, it will convert the number to a string. I just clear and I run it. Now you can see it is converted to string. So now we can able to use the methods that are available for string. If I use to uppercase here like this, it is not going to make any change, but you can see it is not throwing any error. The reason is it is applied, the method is applied, but we cannot convert a number to do right. So we cannot able to do that, right? So if I say something like this, if I run it, it will throw, because it is not comes under number and it is not comes under string. That is why. Okay, so likewise you can use it. And yesterday a person has asked me like how to convert an array to an string. So we have some of the default method. By using that, we can able to convert it. For example, I say about toString, right? So what it will do, it will convert anything to a string. Okay, for example, yesterday I think the person asked me, I don't remember the name. Okay, so I just say car, and here I just asked for Volvo, and here it is going to be Benz, like this. Okay, so if I say console.log car, clear, run, and here you can see it going to return me an array only. You just notice that this is going to be an array only, and we have something called square bracket. It is available. So if I say car dot toString, if I use the method toString, then what going to happen? If I run it, you can see you are not able to see the square bracket, right? So you can able to see only a double quotes, which means it is converted to a string. Okay, so if I say type of car2 string. If I run it, here you can see it is a string because it is converted to a string. So this is how, if you want to convert a string to an array to a string. Yeah, okay, so these are some of the default methods that are available. You can use it. And if you want to create your own methods, yes, of course we can use it. How I created an start method for an car, like that we can able to create it. That is also possible. We can able to create a method for it. We can able to do that. Okay, so this is all about methods. So we have so much of methods. Okay, so for string we have around 22 to 23 methods are available, like 2 uppercase, 2 lowercase, substring, string str, and we have includes. We have so much of methods. Okay, everyone do some functions. Okay, so like how to uppercase, it will convert to uppercase. 2 lowercase, it convert to 2 lowercase. So substring, it will parse the string. We need to cut a particular part, we can use it. And includes method, we need to check whether something is included, that string is included in a sentence or not. We can use that. So there are so much of use case. Around 23 methods are available. I highly recommend, if you want to go through, just go for some of the websites that are available, those methods. Just you read it, you will get it. That's it. Okay, so for array also there are so much of methods is available. Like for array we have some important methods that we need to discuss is push, pop, and method. For example, if you want to add an element, how we can add an element. So for that, what method to add an element? For example, push is a method that we can able to add an element. For example, I say car.push. What this method will do, so this method help us to add an element, add an value at the last of an array. For example, I need to add an array that is going to be Ferrari. Okay, so this Ferrari is now, it's going to add it in the car. Okay, clear? And I just say run console.log and I say car. Okay, so if I run it, you can see Ferrari is displayed here. The reason, push method, what it will do, it just add a data at the last of the array. And we have something called as pop method. So what this will do, it will remove an element from the last element. For example, instead of push, I just comment this and I just say car dot pop. So if I call this method, what this is going to do, it is going to remove this method. It is going to remove this element, last element. So if I run it, you can see that Benz get removed and only Volvo is there. Okay, so this is for adding an element at the last, this is for removing an element at the last. And we have something called as shift and unshift. What this will do, what this method will do, shift method remove element at the beginning. For example, if I remove this, if I remove the pop and I just call shift, okay, shift method, and I just comment this and I run it, now you can see Volvo is get removed and Benz is there. You can see, so it remove a method at the beginning. Okay, so and what is mean by unshift? If you want to add something, if you want to add an element at the beginning of an array, then what you can do, you can use this unshift method. So here I say Lambo, something like this. Okay, I run it, you can see Lambo is get added at the beginning of an array. So likewise, there are these methods available, and also there are some other methods like we have splice method, we have slice method in array, same like that. So for object also we have some of the methods that are available, like to work with this objects and all. How can I say? So we discussed about now. I just do this. For example, these 4 methods that are used to add an element, remove an element and all, and we discussed about some of the other methods that's going to be available. Okay, so I just remove this. Right now I just say create a const and I just going to create a person. Okay, so I just going to create an object for a person. So for example, let I create an data for myself. Okay, so I just say name, and here I just going to say like this. Okay, so and here next what I just going to say, like company, I just simply say company, It's going to be the web dev like this, and I create skills simply, and I just create an array. So inside that array, what I just going to create, I just going to create inside this array, I just going to create an object. Okay, so that is what I just going to create. So here I say okay, sorry for this. Here I can say like front end, this is going to be the something HTML like this. So now I want to access this front end. How can I access it? So this is something called as nested array and nested loops and all. Okay, how can I access it? If I say console.log, so first just go with this, just we call the person. If I say console.log person, okay, so here we're going to use the console clear, and I just run the person. Here you can see it is going to be an object, and inside an object we have something called as company name, and we have skills. Okay, so if I click the skills, what it is going to be, it is going to be an array. So first we need to go, right now we are in object, so right now what I want to do, I need to go for the skill section. So I need to access first a skill section. So it is an object, so I just give a dot and I say skills like this, and clear, run it. Now you can see we will get only this array, we will get this array only. Okay, so because we are using, so I am calling for person skills only, so we are having this array only. So if I do this, you can see it is an array, and we have the 0th index. So now it is going to be an array, so you need to use the square bracket, and which element you need to access, you need to access the 0th element, right? If I call for the 0th element and I clear and I run it, here you can see now it is here, this object. So now it is going to be an object. So how we access an object, we will access an object by using dot, and we will call whatever the parameter we have. So we have the front end, so I just say front end and I just call it, and if I clear and I run it, you can see we will successfully get the HTML. So in real world, an object, a data, it's exactly like this. So this is called as nested object and nested array. So inside an array you can able to hold an object, inside an object you can able to hold an array. Okay, so like even it goes complex, like inside this object we can go, another array is created, inside that array and another object is created. Likewise it will go complex and complex. So you need to use the simple thing, like if it is an object, use dot. If it is an array, use square bracket and the index. If it is a dot, if it is an object, use the dot and just call for it. Okay, so this is the way, that you need to access an objects. Okay, so the methods, so this is something we created, and right now I just give an example. I just say Poki, we have Pokemon API. So API, nothing but it's like a way of storing data. Okay, so here you can see, so someone asked for JSON, right? So I just say view raw JSON. Here you can see this is how the data are get stored. This is how the data are get stored in real world. Okay, so this is a data for a Pokemon named Ditto. So I think the frog, something with frog with a tail, that Pokemon. Okay, so here you can see this is the data that is available for that Pokemon. Here you can see it is started with curly braces, so means it is an object. So inside an object we have these things. Okay, so this is going to be the property, and here you can see that property is an array. So if I want to access something, and inside that I need to use the square bracket, and inside that it is going to be an object, and you can see it is even more going to get complicated inside the object, even in like that. So if I want to access this URL, or if I want to access this name, if I want to access the game index, I like that, what I need to do, I need to use the simple one, same like how I used person dot skills square bracket index dot front end, and then you get access. Same like that, if I want to access the, if right now here it is the real world one, So if I want to access the name of the thing, then it's going to be, right now it is going to be an object. So I need to call the object and I say dot abilities, and I need to give the square bracket. So it is going to be square bracket first one. I need to index this first index, so it is going to be 0, and I need to access the ability. So it is again, it's going to be an object. I just want to give a dot and I just want to call the ability, and again it's going to be another object. We need to give dot and we need to call the name. This is how the real world data. Okay, so I think network. I think my voice is available for all. Okay, so that is all about today's. Okay, so this is all about objects. So it is a very introduction for objects. Okay, so very small introduction for objects. So object is nothing but a structured way of writing code. Okay, it is an optimized way of writing code. So methods and properties is very important, because that is how the entire JavaScript is created. We are using that methods and objects to use like to work with the windows and all. Okay, so to work with the website, to manipulate the website, to interact with the website, we are going to use those objects methods that are defaultly available. Okay, so this is going to be the basics and all. Okay, so if you have any doubt, you can come to the next section. Tomorrow is not going to be the my JavaScript section. I think you can get the section at Thursday. Okay, so in that session we will cover about some of the other concept like loops, and we see about the conditional statements. After that we see about the DOM, and we will create an sample project according whatever we created it. Like, so if it's possible, we will create a sample project, or we go with the concepts and all. Okay, so I will show you. For if you have any doubts, you can contact us in the LinkedIn, or you can contact us in the WhatsApp group. We will be there to reach you. Okay, so see you guys. See you for Thursday. See you on Thursday. Okay.